Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon, iTunes, Audible, and more. Because I want the largest platform possible to make sure that you are 88% happy. I'm on a mission. 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. And why so many eights? Well, if you're watching, you'll see that I'm really not Swedish, even though a lot of people think I am. Just kidding. I'm Chinese, and 8 is a lucky number. It's a homonym for good fortune. And so everything's 8. My number one best-selling book, 8 Ways to Happiness, from wherever you are, as well as my mission. Because I think a lot of people have forgotten that being happy 88% of the time is part of your birthright. And so that's what this show is about. It's balancing out all of the bad news and all of the ways in which we are so unhappy. Even hashtag BC19, the time before COVID, we had 1 out of 4 Americans on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication and still not happy, and then having side effects on top of that. So I wanted to bring you, as a corporate psychologist, some tips on how to be happy every day, as well as answering some of your questions, as well as bringing guests in who will help with some aspect of your life, whether it's as an entrepreneur or it's as how to reduce risk of cancer with Fran Drescher, as well as a little backstory behind different things that you may have watched during the pandemic on Netflix. Like I had Rennie Davis's interview on. He was one of the 7 in the Chicago 7 on trial that you may have watched. Just a plethora of interesting topics and people that you can get on demand on my YouTube channel. So all of the other ones I rattled off, you can listen. But if you want to listen and watch, because I do have cameras in my studio, then please free subscribe on my YouTube channel. And that way you will get to see and enjoy all these amazing people that are here for you. All right, so today is October the 4th, which means that it is the Queen's birthday in Australia. It's their Labor Day, actually. It's the National Day Golden Week holiday for China. We covered that last week. It's National Foundation Day in South Korea. It's Thanksgiving Day in St. Lucia. It's shocker. It's Independence Day in Lesotho. This is the international report of today, October 4th. It's the day off for day after PRC National Day in Macau. It's Peace and Reconciliation Day in Mozambique. Love it. Love it. It is, peat cutting day in the Falkland Islands. That's interesting. And it's last but not least, the Feast of St. Francis of Assisi in Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, and the United States. And for those of you who know, I'm a retired lounge lizard. And one of the projects that I came out of retirement for was to put music to some of my favorite prayers. And Lord, Make Me a Channel of Thy Peace is one of my favorite prayers by St. Francis of Assisi. And when I was traveling in Brazil, I accidentally, which stands for not accidentally, found the church in Brazil celebrating the life of St. Francis of Assisi. So enjoy.
Lord, make me a channel of thy peace. Where there is discord, bring harmony. Where there is hatred, may I bring love. Where there is worry, may I bring joy. Lord, make me a channel of thy peace. Where there is doubt, may I bring faith. Where there is sadness, may I bring joy. Where there is darkness, may I bring light. To comfort rather than comforted, to love rather than be loved, to understand rather than understood. Let this be my prayer. Lord, make me a channel of my peace, to self-forget and be found again, to forgive and forgive, to die and then awake, to find eternal
And I actually have my music, my original music, Before the Dawn, I believe, and Let Me Sing are available at my website, drmarissa.life, that you can get there. Okay. All right. And as per usual, I do bring you my on-location beat reporting stories when I find them very interesting and balance out all of the bad news out there with some good news of people and organizations that are doing good, that are hashtag be the change. And this one falls under that category. And there's another little twist in it. So enjoy.
Good morning. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live. You know me as the Asian Oprah, and I cover things that are in our community that highlight what's right about the world, what's right about the community, and correcting those areas of temporary darkness. And today is no exception. I actually ran into someone that I was just talking about yesterday when I recorded my show on Monday with Hilda Pedroza, who's the sister of David Ordaz Jr., who was killed by the sheriff's department on a call to help someone who was going through a mental health crisis, which is wrong. So I have her show coming out, and I asked her who she's grateful for, and lo and behold, the next day, I bump into someone, an organization like Centro CSO, who has been so supportive to her. And of course, she mentioned by name this lovely woman here that I'm about to interview. So it's an accidental, not accidental. I love my life. I love my world. And so now I get a little bit of background. I'm going to have her fully interviewed on the show, but I wanted you to meet her first, because her story is similar to Hilda's. So first she's going to tell me why she's the spokeswoman here, and then tell me a little bit about her circumstance.
Okay, so the reason why I am a spokesperson here is because I represent the East LA area. I am a human trafficking case manager. Aside from that, my son was killed by the East LA Sheriff's Department, specifically the Banditos, which is the gang here in East LA that is part of the Sheriff's Department. So what I do is I come out into the community and I advocate for other families that may not have a voice because of their immigration status, or they're on parole, or they feel that they're going to be intimidated and they're afraid. So I come in and I speak up in our protests, in our activism. I bring up those names and I remind people these individuals did matter, they did live, and their story's going to be told. So that's why A lot of people know me in the community. I live in the community. I was born in the community, and I fight for my community. I make sure that all of the discriminations that are here, whether it be because of race, whether it be because of your legal status here, whatever the situation may be, I'm going to stand up for you and I'm going to talk. So I'm involved in a lot of things here in East LA. And that's exactly why that's how I met Hilda, was because when David was killed, we responded that same day, me and my family, just to give support, let them know we know what they're going through. In a situation like that, you don't know who to talk to, you don't know where to start, you don't know what to do. So we were there to show our support, we were there to show people that we do care, and that's what we do in this community.
Beautiful. And you didn't introduce your name, so I want everybody to remember.
My name is Lisa Vargas, and I am the mother of Anthony Daniel Vargas.
Yes. And for what you do, I'm going to give you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award, which I don't give to all my guests, and you're not even a guest yet, but just it's a tireless job, obviously. Yeah. You're helping kids who are now incarcerated. So tell me about the kids in the Pomona Detention Center.
So it's actually an immigration detention center. It's separate from a detention center. These are the children that are picked up that their legal status is not of here. So what they do is they separate them from the family, or they may have been brought from the border to the Pomona Detention Center. Now these children are living in cages, lack of blankets, lack of Pampers. You know, what we're doing today is a good deed, and that's why we're asking the community to come out, because we're coloring pages. It could be a page that you want to draw personally. It could be a page that has been printed out. And what we're going to do is we're going to put them inside of the envelopes and address them specifically to the children, so that they know that they're being supported. They know that the community stands with them, and so that they know that they're still children. Just to see something as simple as a little coloring page is going to bring a smile to their face. Yes. And that's what we want. We want our children to feel that it's okay for them to be happy. Yeah. It's not a thing that they have to be miserable and sad all the time. We want to make sure that these children understand that we see them. They may be in there thinking that nobody cares, but you know what? We do care. Yeah. We have community out here, especially in East LA, that wants to do something for them. So this is just a start. We want to see how this is going to go. Yes. And then we're going to go into something, maybe fundraising or something later on, to try to support them and give them that little bit of peace. Yes. And that little bit of love from the community.
Yes. How old are these kids?
Anywhere from the ages of, I believe, 1 to maybe 17. So, you know, you have the older kids that are going to be tending to the younger kids, and it's not fair for them to be doing that because they're children themselves. Yeah. And then the trauma that comes with it, you know, they're separated from their moms, they're separated from their dads, they don't know what's going on, they don't have the comprehension that we have on the legal system. So we want to let them know that we do see them, we still care, and that we're going to support them no matter what.
Wow, that is, I had no idea. That's why I'm really glad I covered these things. Yes. To find out. Now, your son was actually shot by and I have so many questions. We'll get to it on the show. But I just wanted to introduce you to her now, so that when she does come on the show, you'll know why. If you're in the area, we're in Belvedere Park in East LA. This is going on until what time?
Until 1 o'clock.
Okay. So if you're in the area, I'm posting this on my social, please come by, color a drawing for the kids in the detention center who, by no fault of their own, are in this incredible situation. Yes. They probably never knew. I'm going to donate $500 worth of my children's book, Mommy, What Are Feelings, that you can download and print, and also put that as part of the package.
Yes,
that's awesome. I every feeling has a taste, touch, sight, and sound. I can't think of a better place to donate it to. Yes. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I do this at the end of every show, so if you wouldn't mind, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live here at Belvedere Park for the Centro CSO and the advocate,
Lisa Vargas,
who will be coming on my show.
Yes, they can send it to Centro CSO's website.
Okay, and there's a donation link there too for those who want to hashtag be part of the change.
Yes.
All right. Have the best day ever.
What are the chances of that, right? I have someone that she helped, her family helped with the shooting of her brother. If you haven't heard that interview yet, it's a really good one. Make sure that you take a listen to that. It's on my YouTube channel, my interview with Hilda Pedroza and David's daughter, who tell the poignant story and sad story of his death, and yet the beautiful story of the healing now that's going on and helping bring mental health awareness to the Latino community. And that's it for the What's Up Doc first segment of the show. Don't go away. We'll be right back with another question of the day here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio and CNBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, including my free subscribe YouTube channel, where you can get all of my past 546, I believe we're on now, shows all about hope and happiness, because I want you to balance out all the bad news out there with some good news. And we are on to the question of the day. And today's question is, so the question of the day is, how do I deal with people who are narcissists in my life? Now, this can be a narcissist that's your significant other, or it can be a family member, or it can be a friend. And the answer is what I call the art of neglect. So I am qualified to answer this because I do believe that I have had quite a few narcissists in my life, early on, midlife, and late life. And until I realized that I was the person that was actually attracting people like narcissists into my life, I continued to do so. So my tough love answer to anyone who keeps complaining about the people in their lives who are narcissists, who don't care about them, and who don't ask how they are, and continue that the only thing that's important is their life and not yours. My answer is quit going to the tractor for milk. Obviously, you learn the lessons that you need to move on. That's my belief. That's my BS, my belief system that I have experienced. And I realized that I'm the one, I point this finger and there's three fingers pointing back at me, that until I could recognize what I was doing, then it kept happening. I kept having people come back in my life, new and old, who were really narcissists, selfish, self-centered people. And I was acting codependently, which is going back and trying to make them happy and trying to understand what about me was not making them happy, and taking the blame, taking the shame. And finally, when I got healthy enough to understand that it was not them, it was me, then I had the power to make the changes that I needed to. So if this sounds familiar at all, I encourage you to learn the art of neglect. And I actually learned this from one of my teachers, Abraham Hicks, who says that there are 50 or 60 different topics that you could be thinking of in any one moment. And on each of those topics, she calls them sticks, right? There's sticks on a pile. There's 50 possible things you could be thinking about: relationships, money, job, career, children, friends, what's on the news. All of those topics are sticks, and you can pick up any stick in that pile. And our tendency is to pick up the stick that doesn't make us feel good. So if you're focusing on that one person who's the narcissist and getting nowhere and expecting them to be different than they actually are, and trying to get them to understand you in a way that they never will, that's what I call going to the tractor for milk. Tractors do not give milk. They never will. Go find a cow. And the cow for me is picking up a different stick in the pile that it's easier to feel good about. So if your narcissist focus doesn't feel good, don't pick up that stick. Don't talk about them, think about them, stay up all night thinking about how to write them a text that they're actually finally going to come back and say, "Oh, you're right, I'm wrong. You're the best thing since sliced bread," or a glass of milk, and you're wonderful. They're never going to say that. So, 2 words: stop it. Stop picking up that stick. Art of neglect is every time my mind starts going to that person, I take a breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And then I say, you know what? I'm going to think about something that makes me feel better. So what things make me feel better? I love my daughters. Obviously, those are easy things to think about and put a smile on my face, unless they're not acting in a way I like. And then I go to another stick. I spend a lot of time with my bonus sister's little puppy dog because that makes me happy. I love doing my beat reporting on location, so I do that. I love thinking about delicious food because the deliciousness of life makes me feel good. I'm just about ready to go to see Hamilton, and I'm so excited. My older daughter gave that as a birthday present to me, and I'm going with my surrogate mom. And that makes me feel happy. So I think about that. I think about the view that I get from my window. I think about my really comfortable bed. I think about the wonderful clothes I have in the closet. I think about the book that I have out that's looking for a foreign publisher, and I've got a lot of interest in different countries. There's so many things that I can think about that actually make me smile, and instead of putting my pants in a knot like that person that drives me absolutely crazy. Why would I want to think about them or talk about them or think about them when there's so many other fabulous things that I could be thinking about and doing? So that is the art of neglect that I have just coined in this last month, because I realized that I absolutely can feel better just by what I choose to focus on. Okay? So it's a little play on a Happy 88 tool that we've done before called choice, but this I'm calling the art of neglect. So before we choose to neglect those things like narcissists in our lives that drive us crazy. And when we stop focusing on them, guess what? Fabulous people come into your life. All right? Hopefully you will practice that art of neglect and make yourself feel better, because I want you to be 88% happy, because that's my mission. This is Dr. Marissa. When we come back, I have a great on-location interview with a really lovely couple that I met at Secret Knock, Janie and Kyle. They are from Canada, and they've got a lot to tell you about how you can make more money, enhance your wealth and prosperity, and do good at the same time. So don't go away. We'll be right back on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. And on my free subscribe YouTube channel. If you do subscribe, you'll get an alert every 8 a.m. weekday mornings here for Dr. Marissa, your hashtag positively opinionated host and producer who wants you to be happy 88% of the time. And why 88% and not more than that? Well, if you're 100% happy, you're dead. I don't want dead people walking around. 88% is most of the time. So that's a realistic goal. And 88 is a homonym. 8 is a homonym for good fortune. So it is your birthright to be 88% happy. So claim it. Here's the interview. Hope you enjoy.
Let's get a better frame here.
He's on camera.
Yeah, all three of us now.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Dr. Marissa, reporting live here at Secret Knock in somewhere east of San Diego. And I've had an amazing time being on stage, meeting speakers, talking to them, and meeting super interesting people that I corralled to have them talk to me and share with me what they're doing. Now, I don't have an answering machine. I have a questioning machine. And when you call me, it says, "Who are you and what do you want?" So, who are you and what do you want?
Well, thank you, first of all, Marissa, for this opportunity. And my name is Kyle Dooland, reporting live. It's Marissa P.
That's my line.
Yeah. And so Kyle Dooland, I am Canadian. So is my beautiful wife with me here today. And what do I want? I want to impact. We want to impact the world with real estate. We want to show people how to buy property the right way, whether it be an investment property or their primary residence, their home they're going to live in. The important thing is that it pays you. You don't pay for it month after month after month. It pays you month after month after month. So that is what I want. I want people to know that this is possible and this is the right way to get started in real estate, just like we've done.
Yeah. So this is a little bit of a paradigm shift because normally when you're taught at home that, you know, one of the things that you do is go to school, then you buy a car, and then you get a person to marry you, and then you have children, and then you buy a house, yes. Right?
Yes.
And as we saw in 2008 and before that, that whole, you know, way of security is not that secure, right? Reverse mortgage, upside down mortgage. So why is this something that you thought was important? And was this from personal experience? Did you have that happen to you and then you said, I don't want other people to do that?
Well, not exactly, but my background is I have a double bachelor's from McGill University.
My dad went to McGill.
Wow, fantastic.
Small world.
Jelly.
Yes. Yeah.
And so math, numbers is my thing. So I know how to optimize, and I love optimizing. So I see the math behind real estate. And I was like, there's a good way and there's a bad way to do it here. And so we firmly believe that most people make the biggest financial decision of their life on wrong foundations. They enter into a mortgage. Not that mortgages are good or bad. It depends on how it's used and what the strategy is behind it. But if you enter into this 25-year liability, this mortgage, and month after month for 25 years you have to pay that bill, well, it's forcing you to stay in the same city, in the same job, or, you know, it's extremely hindering your freedom to life and opportunity. And so we want to teach people not to make that first mistake.
Right. So did you know when you were a kid that this is what you wanted to do, is to do real estate?
Not at all.
So is this beautiful wife, as you described her, to blame for this or to give credit for?
1,000%.
So we're going to meet the better half. I will say now, she is more beautiful than you are. I'm sorry, but please introduce yourself and tell me what you want.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Janie, and I'm from Canada as well, Montreal, Quebec. And I knew as a kid, and I don't come from a family of means, but I think I was 9 years old, that I wanted to own real estate and to help people through real estate. And at 19, I gathered my funds that I've been working so hard to buy my first property, made a ton of mistakes, and then at 24, bought the second, at 27, bought the third one. And then I decided that, we went to a seminar where we met investors, and that's where we decided to jump in the U.S. to buy properties in the U.S. to accelerate our growth, because at that point I had 3 properties under my belt, but I wanted more and I wanted to give back. And so in 3 years we accumulated over 100 doors, became financially independent, financially free, quit my day job as a nurse, and eventually people were asking us how we did it. So we started teaching people how to invest in real estate, Canadian investing in the U.S., because there's just more opportunities in the U.S. and the returns are just much better than we get back home. And we've been helping people attain financial freedom, and that's been a wonderful journey. And now we're shifting. We're still helping anyone who's willing to invest in the U.S., but now our next program coming out is the Key to Freedom, where we're going to be helping 18 to 35-year-old make a lot better decisions, and I'll let Kyle talk about that. That's really cool.
And before Kyle does that, there looks like you can't really see where their hands are, but they're very loving. So I always have my little hashtag relationship goals. So how did you guys meet? And because she's to blame for the real estate, I want to hear your side of the story, how you met.
Now, there's a little something that Tony Robbins says. Instead of blame, it's a credit, right? Effective blaming or credit. So I blame Janie for everything in my life right now. All the abundance, all the joy, all the money, all the relationships, and like Janie is to blame. She is the credit for everything. I often tell her, you're my spark, right? I might be the engine, the motor, the fuel.
I call him my unusual.
Yes.
So together we spark the unusual.
We're sparking the unusual. Yes.
How long have you been married?
Well, 2 years next week, but we've been together almost 8 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So, all right. So,
where did we meet?
Yes.
Thank you. That's a really interesting and fun story as well, because we met in a small Cree community in northern Canada.
Cree.
So Cree is an Aboriginal population, Aboriginal community in northern Quebec, and they have several different communities, and we met in Wemindji. So Wemindji, I was a nurse there. I was there for about 3 years before I met this gentleman, and he was there completing a stage, and I'll let him talk about that.
Yes.
So traveling nurse, that's what you mentioned, traditional, how to, make money, and you were doing that. But you had this investor mind as a child. And so that I just want to take a minute to highlight, this is the message that I always tell my clients and anyone that will listen, is that you don't have to do one thing in life, right? Life is a joyride, many stops. Yes. So that was my public service announcement.
I love it. So Wemindji, this small Cree community, Janie had been working there for a number of years, and I was going there to finish my double bachelor's from McGill University, right? And so that's where we met, and that first...
Was it love at first sight?
Nope. Not for me. No, he was wearing his, I don't know, what's it called?
Well, you say Dungeon and Dragon outfit, but I don't know what that's about. But
his mind sparked a big interest, but it was not love at first sight. We got to know each other over several months, for me anyways.
She caught my eye at first sight, though, I'll tell you that.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. So then you started talking, and...
We set up a first date at the ice rink. She basically showed me up for 2 hours. But I was super hopeful. I'm full of hope and perseverance. Like, these are key ingredients. I kept on skating. She's going to come.
For 2 hours. 2 hours. This is like a slow manifestation.
Yes, that's right.
I was busy on an emergency. Okay.
So the story goes. Meanwhile, I was skating until I finally gave up, but slowly take off my shoes, put my boots back, slowly dragged my feet out to the parking lot. And just as I was about to open the door to leave, I see her in the parking lot walking by. So I quickly turn around and start reading the billboard.
Because you can't look like you've been skating for 2 hours waiting for her.
Exactly, right? So then when she said, hey, you're here, wonderful. And she's like, you want to skate? I'm like, well, yeah, I came to skate. Let's skate. So go back in, and then we skate for another hour, an hour and a half. And in that first date, she told to me what she wanted out of life, what she had done. She'd already bought her third property at that point. She wanted to buy one every 5 years. She wanted to travel the world. She wanted to fly planes and helicopters and buy planes and helicopters. And I was like, whoa, what's happening? Slow down. And eventually I said, okay, well, tell me everything you want. Write it all out, right? Because there's nothing you can't get. I'm convinced of this. We just need a plan and a priority.
Wow.
But the thing is, no one believed in me before. So I don't come from a family of means, and every time I would say what I wanted, and in that there's material things, but there's a lot that I want to give back. And people are like, you're just not born in that type of family. Janie, stop thinking that you're going to be rich one day. Just stop that. Just work your job and be happy with what you have. Just be happy.
Yeah.
And he was the first person that said, Janie, just lay it on me. You can have everything you want, just not all at once, and are you willing to work for it? And I don't know where that inspiration came from.
Those were the good words, ladies and gentlemen. Those were the good words.
Yeah.
It definitely caught me.
Wow, that's fascinating. There's so many ways I could go with this, because first, it matters, and it doesn't matter what the messages you get when you're young from people who love you, who are well-meaning, but sometimes are more mean than well.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that sounds like the first lesson you got. You found someone that believed in you and what you wanted. That's number 2. Number 3 is you were pretty smart. So you saw something you wanted, which was a woman who
had ambition. At the end of the day, I've been in my box up to that point. My entrepreneurship, leadership, I had no idea what that was. I couldn't even define it. I didn't know what it was. I was at school. I mean, I'd been valedictorian in high school, great grades. I did my community service and whatnot. I was a good kid. Didn't like breaking rules. But then I didn't have a vision. I couldn't set I couldn't set my own goals. But if someone told me they wanted something, I'm like, well, let's do this, and just
math.
do it.
Yeah.
I'll math it out, It's very possible.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I didn't have that spark myself. So when I saw this in Janie, and I guess I didn't have very many entrepreneur friends or around me or to this level. So when I met Janie and she was telling me this, I was like, well, I got to spend more time with her. I mean, she clearly has something that I will never have, and I think I can help her get there.
Yeah.
And together, realizing her ambitions and her visions, I can help so many more people than the career path that I had chosen, which was teaching mathematics at the high school level. So I was only going to touch a couple hundred kids a year in that profession, and through the wealth, through our philanthropical activities and desires, we're going to help hundreds of thousands, if not millions in our lifetime, rather than a couple hundred. Not that a couple hundred is bad, but her potential could be so much larger.
Right.
And when I saw that, I was like, no, I gotta do this.
That's such a beautiful story. Isn't that a beautiful story? I love it. Well, how do people get involved? Because obviously you're doing this because, I always wonder when you see those commercials of people on YouTube or wherever it is where it says, are you tired of living in do you want this giant mansion, then come back. And I always say to myself, if you know all that, why are you even sharing it? Because and then usually those are scammers who want to prey on your caviar and champagne dreams, and you end up spending your retirement and getting bilked for it. So I don't get that feeling from you at all. I would never have you on the show if that were true. That's my litmus test. So tell me about that side.
Well, let's start by we got sharked. so that happened, and
by how?
By a real estate guru right? And we decided that if we were ever going to do this educational thing, that we would do it completely differently. From the bottom of our hearts and from akin to our professions, teaching and nursing, giving back is extremely, extremely important to us. And we wanted to do this the right way. And so we decided to, when people saw our success and started coming to us, at first, we established a plan on how we were going to do that. And we teach what we do what we preach, basically. Yeah. And so do you want to go into how we develop JK's Real Estate Partners?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. So maybe more than that is the JK lifestyle. Like JK is our brand. JK's Real Estate Partners is our company, one of our companies, and we often promote the lifestyle that we live. Right. Many times we're in our motorhome, running around the countries, Canada, U.S., and abroad. We're teaching people that you can do business remotely. That cash flow is key. Buying at a discount is key. All these basic investing principles that we think are the foundation. Yeah. So every day we're living what we preach, right? Yeah. So that's important.
The one said she was really shy. Hello.
Yeah, I know. Well, you'll warm her up.
And the one thing is, a lot of people think that they have to invest in their backyard. Yeah. Us being Canadians investing in the U.S., we it's a big backyard. It's a big backyard, but we invest remotely, and a lot of people are scared to invest remotely. Right. And the thing is, a lot of people are set back by the prices in their neighborhood. Yeah, they want to do real estate, but in California, for example, a single-family house is very expensive. Well, in Cleveland, where we started investing, we bought our first property for $9,000, and
over
then
$9,000 cash.
And then we renovated for $30,000. And we put in a tenant there with one of our subsidized programs that the government offers for $1,200 a month. And then we did this over and over again. And so we're cash flowing very well. And so we're teaching people that you don't have to invest in your backyard. You can choose. You're not a tree. You can move. And so you can invest in places that it makes sense, where financial freedom can get you to your dreams, right? So that's basically the message.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. So we're running out of time as usual, but I want to ask you one last question that I ask all my guests, which is, to who and what are you most grateful for? And I'm going to say besides each other, because that's obvious. I mean, you can still say that, but then you have to do one other.
That's a good one.
That's the one that makes the hearts melt usually when I say it's Janie, and then I go on and on about it. But let me think about that.
But honestly, we met this gentleman called Brian Ponciano in one of our real estate seminars back in Florida, and he introduced us to Secret Knock. And for those of you who are in real estate, sometimes it can be sharky. Like, there's a lot of sharks in real estate. And we were in that crowd where we didn't feel comfortable. And Brian introduced us to Secret Knock, and for the first time in our lives, we were here and we felt like this was our crowd. This was people that we wanted to be surrounded with, where people with a lot of fortune was just able there to give feedback to. They were talkable people, and then from there it really changed our vision on how the wealthy was, because there was limiting beliefs. Yeah. They're riding bikes.
Mr. Awesome. Yeah. We're going to talk to Mr. Awesome in a bit. Beautiful.
But go ahead.
And I'm grateful for so many people, so many things. We live in I'm not going to say perpetual state of gratefulness. We all have our ups and downs, but it's definitely a very core intention to stay in gratitude and abundance. Yes. And to spread that to our teams, our family, and our proximity. But and on that note, I think I'm going to say I'm most grateful to our first mentor. Mm-hmm. We owe everything to that gentleman, even though I'm not going to say that.
It's the same one that was sharking.
Exactly. So through all the unfulfilled promises, through all the knowledge and all the learnings, right? You either win or you learn, right? Well, we learned a ton with this guy. A ton of things to do, a ton of things not to do. So without that experience in our lives, JK's Real Estate Partner would not be there. Women's Properties would not be there. STR Properties would not be there. I
like that.
So
I like that recognition.
It's and we teeter-totter on. Thank you, like really, because without him, without his first Facebook ad, we would not be sitting here right now, guaranteed.
That's beautiful, and the recognition of that is so important. I call them pearl makers, because a pearl is made because there's an irritating piece of dirt in the shell and so you lubricate around it to make the pearl. So he obviously helped you make a lot of pearls. So that is great, and I'm so grateful. Well, how do people find you, to work with you, to attend one of your programs? I may have to. Oh, and the other question is, what's the minimum amount of money that you need to be able to start this process?
I love that. Beautiful those questions. So I think the easiest way to find us, to get a hold of us, to enter into the JK universe or the JK world is to commit the following words to memory: now for tomorrow, right? That's what we represent. You do now for tomorrow. We built the Now for Tomorrow brand, the Now for Tomorrow Club.
Okay.
So on Instagram, on Facebook, at Now for Tomorrow Club, you can find us that way. Just our general email, info@NowforTomorrow Club. You can get a hold of us that way as well. So Now for Tomorrow Club.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I'll just say that maybe as a final, and you might want to edit this out afterwards or not, you let me know. But we're super, super excited about the upcoming program, because up to about last year, we were teaching Canadians how to invest in the U.S., and it does take some money to get started. Although we got started with very little, it's a lot of work to do that from scratch. There are ways to buy property with no money, to do it creatively. We teach a whole bunch of strategies to do that, but that's not our thing to get 100 people in a room, say you'll all buy properties with none of your own money, no money down. And so because of that, we used to set a minimum of $50,000 to get started, $50,000 US to get started, and then that's a very comfortable basis to start the machine and have as much success in real estate as you want. But it left a big gap in our hearts, which is helping that first-time home buyer, that young kid, 18 years old. It's going to take a while to get 50,000 if ever. So how do we help them? It's always been my goal to help the younger individual. And so that's why we're super, super excited that very shortly, next year, if COVID is behaving somewhat, we are going to launch the Key to Freedom. The Key to Freedom program is going to teach 18 to 35-year-olds. That's the target demographic for our program. It works for anybody, but that's who we want to reach, to buy their first home. It could be your dream home in 2 years or less. Using none of your own money, none of your own credit. You don't even need a job, and it pays you. So when you're on vacation attending Secret Knock, it's paying you for your hotel here, your vacation here, and so on and so forth.
And how much is that program?
$50 a month.
$50 a month for how long?
As long as you want to be part of that world. And in the first month, we want to show you how to bring $500 a month residual income into your life. So 1 month, 10x your investment, and set you up for the freedom and the lifestyle you deserve. The Key to Freedom.
Well, that sounds, and of course I won't edit that out. If you want to give one free spot as an Asian Oprah giveaway for that.
100%.
Oh my good Lord, yes.
Okay, so there you go. The first person to go to drmarissa.life and put in
Key to Freedom.
Key to Freedom will get that spot, and I'll hook you up with these wonderful guests who have really, I'm sure you can feel it through the camera, through the microphone. They really want to help. So that's it for today. I end every show with this little thing, so if you would do it with me: peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live. You know me as the Asian Oprah. I am here with a beautiful couple, and once again, you can find them at
NowforTomorrow.club.
Thank you so much.
And yes, make sure you go to their website. Make sure you sign up for that event. Make sure you, especially if you're younger and you are feeling a little hopeless about your financial prospects here during the pandemic, feel no hopelessness anymore. As usual, I will continue to bring people who can help. So check them out. All right, and that's it for today's scintillating episode of Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. We'll see you here tomorrow morning, bright and early at 8 a.m. And as usual, Dr. Marissa reporting live here from my living room, reminding you that it's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. And remember, have the best day ever. Bye.